Thank you very much for joining us today on the program Healthy Living. I'm Adesuwa Osa Uwagie, and we're going to be looking at the novel coronavirus that is ravaging the whole world with no exception. And you know, with the lockdown and all, cases are still coming up, and people are talking. People are beginning to wonder what is happening. Is it that some persons just have it and don't want to talk about it, or because perhaps we have increased, you know, the testing centers that we have across the nation? But so far, coronavirus has spread up to 32 states in Nigeria, and the death toll from COVID-19 is about 40. And we also heard that Governor Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State have ordered that Lagosians must use face masks from now on or face the wrath of the law, just as we are doing in Edo State. We have this set of people who the government have set out to help enforce the use of face masks in Edo. Unfortunately, a lot of persons, you find them in public places without face masks, and they will tell you that, oh, they cannot breathe. Oh, the face mask is so inconvenient. Oh, are we really sure that there's coronavirus? You know, all sort of excuses just come up. And you begin to wonder if these persons are really, really living in this country. So Sanwo-Olu has ordered that all Lagosians must use face masks, and Edo State government also gave that order. But some persons, for whatever reason, have decided that no, they will not use face masks, and some others say face masks is just not their thing. All right, Kano has seen its own, or have gotten its own share of the coronavirus too, and well, we hope and pray that the update that the NCDC, they say that they will give us from Kano State will definitely reach us. And the UK Prime Minister is back home. Lucky him, and we're so happy for him. So we are here on the program Healthy Living, and I have with me Dr. Barry Ojo, who is a family medicine practitioner. It's nice to have you join us today.
Thank you very much, Adesuwa.
All right, doctor, we're talking about coronavirus, the journey so far in Nigeria. You know, from February that we got the first index case to today.
Yes, Adesuwa.
The cases are rising astronomically.
Yes.
And we're boarded.
Yes,
Really
as you can see, we're already in the beginning of the ninth week of the COVID.
Yes.
In terms of the Nigeria rundown. So, you know, COVID is said to have incubation period of about 14 days. So when you times it by 8, the peak of it, or by 4 rather, the peak of it is about 64 days. So we're on the 65th day today in COVID virus. But let's look at the journey so far globally. As of this afternoon, 3,017,000 people have been infected by the illness. And in all this, America is sharing 1/3 of the population. Close to 900,000 people are infected in America, and they've been bastardly affected with over 55,000 deaths. That rings a bell at this one. That shows that it's not a joke.
And the cases are rising by the day.
Yes.
The figures are just
yes. In Italy, they've recorded over 25,000 deaths. In Spain is 23,000. But Germany have done so well. Even they have over 197,000 cases. They've had less than 6,000. We're looking at it from the global. Then coming to Africa, or even the UK. UK have recorded over 20,000 deaths, thanks to God, the goodness that the Prime Minister survived with the hair of the whiskers. Now, in Africa alone, South Africa has had over 4,000, close to 4,600 infected cases.
Yes.
But the good news is this.
That's 4,546 cases
only
already.
87,000, only 87 people that have died in South Africa. But look at Algeria. Algeria has had over 3,000 cases or thereabout, but they've recorded 425 deaths. That's a lot. Egypt had 317 deaths. But in countries like Nigeria, we're talking about 40 deaths, 1,723 cases so far. But that is not a good news, because what we now have at this point, we now have what we call community spread. Now look at the case of Madagascar. The president of Madagascar, Andry Rajoelina, talked about herbal medicine. And today, as at this afternoon, they've had only 124 cases. And that's why there's no deaths. Because at the time Nigeria had 40 cases, we already had 2 deaths. So even in the case of Senegal, as I tell the Senegalese president, I said, no, let's copy Madagascar. Today just have only 9 deaths with about 621 cases.
What are they doing that we
they
are
are,
not
they
doing?
are trying to,
Right?
they are trying to, no, we're also trying our best. Because in the 40 people that have died at this, I tell you, over 24 of those persons have underlying illnesses that we talked about it by a fortnight ago. Right here in the studio, we're talking about herbal medicine and all that, that governors of, Governor of your state and other places talked about. But in the 1980 news, a lady called away from London and he gave an experience. She was COVID positive. Her daughter was COVID negative. But a doctor in UK talked about herbal medicine to her. And she went to the African shop, got this man, started doing a lot of stimulation with this herbal medicine. And at the end of the day, most of the respiratory system got resolved. What is COVID-19? A strange virus that was found on the 31st of December because it was found in the year 2019. Just like you had the one you had SARS in COVID-2 of 2002, then you had another one in 2012 in Saudi Arabia. So how does it kill? It leads to lung collapse. So once there's this atelectasis, patient dies. Anything that will make anything that will make it uncomfortable in the lung, patient survives, irrespective of the number of the level of effectivity. That's why it's different from Lassa and Ebola. Once you get these ones right, we are not talking about something, an idea that we may not have much knowledge about, but a lot of persons have come to testify, even the Speaker of House of Assembly.
But unfortunately, a lot of persons are not even talking about herbal medicine. They are not even...
No, what we're saying, what we're talking about is peradventure somebody found itself to be exposed to COVID. That's what we're talking about here. A lot of persons are worried. They're talking about, in quote, hunger virus. So what I think we should be looking at today in Healthy Living is, what is the way forward? Are we now going to continue to tell people to lock down? Because a lot of people are now...
Is the lockdown helping?
No, I don't think it's helping matters really, because a lot of people are not even keying into the lockdown. But whereas a majority of the population is dying of a lot of God don't support, there are no palliatives. If they are there, where is the door-to-door? Where is the evidence?
This one that people are not adhering to lay down instructions, simple instructions of washing your hands all the time, using hand sanitizer, wearing your face masks. Don't you think that the lockdown is just the best?
No, the lockdown would have been the best in countries like Europe and America. In this country, the country was already in a state of depravity. A lot of people are living less than $1 a day. Then the government is not responding up to expectation. That's where we find ourselves. Hey, look at the story of Ghana. Ghana have had over 1,500 cases in infected cases, but they have just 11 deaths. Just to kill what you are saying, that Nigerian population has to see the need to believe that this disease is real. 2 days ago in Kano, you had some crowd of youths, Babu Corona. What does that mean? That Corona doesn't exist. But this is hunger due to lack of support from the government.
So what is killing them in Kano?
No, there was a strange activity that took place in Kano where a lot of people died. That NDCC and another group of agencies are still investigating that. But we also know that the cases of Kano is already rise. Of course, that's community spread. Talking about contact to contact. So, but the most important thing now is this. If you are now saying people should stay at home, then rise up to the occasion or provide the palliatives. Because some persons will say Nigeria has so much money. Some will say Nigeria is having so much debt. But what we're saying now, government should rise up to the occasion now. Because whether you like it or not, like Anambra State that just done last night, where we need to open up our markets, we need to government civil servants majority have to go to work.
So the market,
face masks become compulsory. Hand washing has come to stay. There should be awareness. But let me tell you something on this one. The illness is not as fatal for the blacks like the way it is in the whites. There's no day saying that fact. Because if you look at the way at which South Africa, for instance, have just had 87 deaths with over 4,500 cases, you will know that the melanin, the black race, has a lot of role to play. It's a protective role to play. So, but again, we should not go to town. We should not go and sleep. So, but that is where you're talking about sanitization, the issue of hand washing, hygienicity plays a role. But the government has a lot of role to play, alongside you, the media, and the health workers. So that the message will go across that. Even when this illness has killed a very powerful person in the country, like the former chief of staff, talking about Bakari of blessed memory. Let's know that this thing is real. Let's not look at it as a piece of cake. So even when you are going to open marketplaces now, let there be strict adherence to this these sanitizing things, talking about hand washing, social distancing and all. Another state, even Oyo State, they are opening mosques and churches. But they want that the rules of the game has to be obeyed alongside the NCDC. So where we find ourselves is this. We find ourselves in a situation, we're already hungry. Now a strange illness came. Government has shown so many local attitude towards the welfare of the people. Now they find out we find ourselves in a logjam. Okay, for those that are earning salaries, yes, the month you earn, you go collect your salaries. But 90% of Nigerians are living on day-to-day basis. So even some of the doctors are artisan doctors in quotes, because they have to run their private practice to survive. The same thing with other professionals. So even the schools, some proprietors are already sacking their teachers, because they know they cannot continue to pay salaries when the school is not running. So in that situation, what do we do next? First of all, like the Madagascar approach, you know that there's an illness. You now accepted that this illness has come. Yet, we know that Madagascar is a small country.
Yes.
But we can also make our way in our big way. So let's begin to say that the first month, like you said, like the state has instructed, make compulsory.
But how many persons are wearing face masks?
That is the problem we have.
Because a lot of persons just put the face mask across their face to avoid being arrested or being harassed.
Yes.
That is why they are using it.
Again, I haven't talked about face mask at this one. 40 persons have died since February 23rd, I agree. But have you looked at the number of persons that have died outside COVID? Thousands of Nigerians. Let me tell you something. I know so many of my clients that come to UBH that can no longer come. They now go to some small mushroom clinics, and then they are giving wrong medication.
Why is that?
Because some of them, for number one, they already have apprehension for places like UBH, which is a misnomer. Two, a lot of persons are being supported from the diaspora. Don't forget, close to 1 million population on the people are living in Italy, and now they are locked down. They are no longer having a lot of resources. A lot of people are being supported by their children. And again, for instance, if a parent has a son in Lagos, a daughter in Lagos that is supporting him, maybe in all his welfare, where will he get? Where he or she get the money to send down to the parent? So there's a lot of problem here. But we are praying that the problem, in the earliest possible time, the president should be within control. Because if you look at the situation of Africa now, Africans are not getting it right. But countries like Rwanda are doing well. Rwanda have several hundreds of cases, but they are not deaths.
Why is it always different when it comes to African things?
No, but the Africans...
Is there something that we're not doing right?
I think it has to do with leadership, because leadership has to carry everybody along. For instance...
Okay, let's look at the health sector. Let's take it from the health sector holistically. I remember that some times ago, maybe around 2001 or so, in Abuja, there was a meeting that was held by the heads of African government to say that, okay, 15% of budget should be directed to the health sector. But unfortunately, that has not been happening.
Yes.
Don't you think that with this novel coronavirus, the activities in the health sector will be so overwhelmed?
Of course, that's an obvious drawback. That's where the problem lies. Countries like Ghana and South Africa have even done well to have stepped their budget up to 10%. But what of Nigeria's situation? Our budget for health sector is less than 1%. But look at what goes to the defense ministry, for instance. To compare what goes to education and health, it's a tip of the iceberg. So that is where our problem lies. The funding is not good. Even when there's going to be adequate funding, how sincere are we? That is the truth of the matter. You see all the donations they make in here and there. How many has really got to the doorstep?
Everybody is now stuck in Nigeria. Nobody's jetting out. Nobody's going anywhere. Don't you think it's about time the health sector has been looked into seriously?
That's for the politicians.
And
it's high time we look at this health sector and fix our things right. Because the time will come, Nelson Mandela said it, that the time will come, he is looking at always a time where African leaders will see the need they will not see the need to develop their place and not taking money in the diaspora. So the health sector, is this already an eye-opener that this is the time to get things right. That is the reason why when a strange illness like this will come, look at what happened to Lassa. Ebola, we were lucky to have got it right in 3 months in the former administration. But look at Lassa fever. Lassa fever have killed so many people, almost times 50, if you like, or that of COVID. Of course, because COVID just came in December 31st as a deviation. So that's why we are saying that calling on government, look, this is hard time we begin to budget larger amount of money to health sector. But again, the health administrators have to see the need that when this money has been disbursed to these ministries, for instance, this thing gets to the grassroots. It will be used for its purpose and not be siphoned by the head of those parastatals. But that's another story for another day. What is most important now is that, what do you do next? Because people are asking me. If you check my phone, you'll be shocked. Because you are tired of assisting people. For how long will you continue? So the way forward, I think, is this. Let's slow down our lockdown. Okay. This is whether I like it or not. Anambra heard this, or you has followed suit. So let's see the need to say, okay, there will be partial lockdown, or 1/4 lockdown if you like. So that the people, like for instance, the vulcanizer that is having hypertension, and he do his day-to-day tires. He has somewhere like a sanitizer close to his shop. When you are stopping to do your tire, you also do your hand. It's on face mask.
Do you think that will help? Do you think that is enough? Because even with the lockdown, the number is rising.
That's what I'm saying.
And if we are
so if the lockdown is not working, then
are we not going to be overwhelmed? Are
yes.
we not going to be recording
If you look at the Edo case, look at the yes, I agree with you. Look at the Edo cases, for instance. In the last 3 days, we'd had 9 new cases. But there's no cause for alarm. Because these are cases that were under surveillance. These are cases that we already traced their contact to. We already knew that these persons may be positive or negative. Some days ago, about 5 days ago, Edo State government cleared about 105 persons that were supposed to contact. I said some persons that had contact with the late police DXP. So Edo government is trying their best in terms of how to track down this. But the issue is this, like somebody said the other day, they are turning down patients in central store. Who said? That's not true, because some of these central store
that story went viral.
Yes, some of these, the Commission for Health has come to clear the air. But let me tell you something. A lot of my colleagues are there. A good number of their colleagues have been diverted to the issue of COVID-19 on other places. So they now have special assignment. So you and I know that the workforce has come down. Yes. So they have to see the number of patients they can see. Because they cannot now, maybe let me give you an example. A pregnant woman that is coming to Central Store by 10 a.m. What are you doing there? They have the targets. If they are going to see 500 women pray for antenatal, then the 501 will go back for the next time. So that's why when you are going to the hospital, you do things first thing in the morning. So nobody is turning down any patient, whether in UBGH, whether in Central, whether in any of the government hospitals. I'm not the PRO of government, but that's the truth. But again, what about persons, like you said, you have been asked to wear face masks, you are not wearing it. You have to be asked to do common sanitary personal hygiene. You are not abiding to do. Is it government that will do everything? That's why I'm appealing to government. We haven't heard on the grapevine, not on the news yesterday, that federal government has donated a lot of some bags of rice to Edo State. So we call on government. Let these things get to the common man.
I hope it's not the kind of bag of rice that was donated to a state.
Well, I think they've checked it and they discovered that it was in order. So because the most important problem now is that, like we discussed a fortnight ago, people are not well. People have diabetes, people have all kinds of illnesses, and yet there are no resources to get the medication to keep themselves, to get the head they are living. And now,
coronavirus have taken over.
A lot of people are now trying to get out of the woods due to hunger virus. So it's a problem. So we are in Africa, we have more of an economic problem with the virus than social or psychological. Like you said, the Italian billionaire, 3 weeks ago, falling from 12-story building because he had lost his wife and 2 children, 2 daughters to COVID. That's not what is happening in Africa. There's a lot of apprehension. How do you feed the children? How do you even feed yourself the next day?
Okay, let's look at those who have health issues, other health issues apart from coronavirus. It seems as if these health issues have been, swept under the carpet, and coronavirus is everywhere. How do we deal with such?
No, for instance,
those who are diabetic, those who are
hypertensive, obese, all kind of illnesses. Those that are HIV, living with HIV. But what we are saying is this: like we said a fortnight ago, we're not repeating ourselves. But it's a media, so you can always say it over and over again. Once somebody knows that has any underlying illness, please don't allow the euphoria or the phobia of COVID to make you forget yourself, because it's very important. If you have a diabetic, see as every avenue to reach out to your doctors or to your attending physicians. That's number one. Number two, so long as you are doing well your medication, please don't neglect your medication, and see how you can solicit for help, especially when you are unable to afford those medications. Yes. Then your lifestyle modification is still very important. Some people are staying at home now, they are living sedentary life, they are gaining more weight, so and all that.
How do we live
so for instance, if somebody that is having overweight and is hypertensive, and the lockdown is keeping the person at home, you're expected to take a walk around the compound, or you do some compatible exercises. That's going to be a long way. The adequate sleep hygiene, of course, you're going to monitor the kind of food you eat. For those who have enough to eat this time, then take a lot of water. Then make sure you are in contact with those your high fiber diet and all that. Then just try as much as possible to stay safe. That's the most important. But a lot of persons were still going to club. A lot of people were still going to a lot of that made. I think that was what led to the issue of even though the crime wave also increased at the time. But thank God for Mr. Governor who has brought that to place, and we hope that by Wednesday night those ones will be over. And a lot of persons may have learned their lessons. That this is not the time to gather so much. Don't stay away from crowded areas. Just make sure you stay safe. But again, the government is not. Especially the federal government. The federal government is not looking at this problem. That's my personal opinion. That maybe they are thinking that there's a timeline for the problem. There's no timeline. Look, in the last 5 days, Italy has not had any infected cases, but their death toll is increasing because some persons have been infected. But again, thanks to what are the risk factors, for instance, to a COVID patient that can die? The elderly patients. A patient that may be having any of these underlying illness like cancer or even diabetes that is not well controlled. If somebody have a well-controlled diabetes, the patient don't go to die of COVID. Then again, somebody that may have had any form of illness, maybe an acute illness, and once COVID is coexisting, it can be a problem. So, but again, let's look at it. Let's give it a human face. That is what UPTH has said, that let's begin to see how much services we can render. Because primary and secondary care is almost in a terrible state in this environment. So you can see the CMD now sending questionnaires. They came to my private hospital somewhere in Awo, sending questionnaires to people using some of the doctors or some other health workers to feel the journey so far, to know the kind of effort. That's frantic for UPTH management. That let's know where we are so that the private hospitals and the peripheral hospitals like local government health centers are closer to the people. So let them know that the tertiary institution is not sleeping. That is why we are saying government should join the health workers. So when people begin to say, what the Chinese people can do.
Okay, what is happening in our society now is the issue of depression and mental illness as a result of fear of coronavirus. What can you tell us? Well,
you can say that people have the phobia or the fear for coronavirus, yes. But that can really, maybe individuals can develop what we call anxiety neurosis. What is causing more depression nowadays is economy. Because a lot of persons no longer have access to money.
So how do people
even the rich
get out of that depression?
You know, the rich, most of them live on overdraft.
The moment you are depressed, a lot of problems will
That is what we are saying now. That
somebody called in on Thursday to say that he has this feeling that the husband is depressed because he's not himself anymore, and she has this fear that the guy may just
that's a sincere caller.
Very sinister.
That's a sincere.
So what we're saying is, such a person, how can that person?
Yes, that's a sincere caller.
Period medically.
Yes, that's a sincere caller. But that same caller, she also quickly get across to the family doctor. Any of the doctors that she can get across to, so that the family doctor or a family friend who is a medical person can come around to evaluate the man. Because the husband could also be going through a lot of difficulties. You know, men are go-go, especially African men. So a man that used to go out, come in the night, at times come after 3 days, is now looked at. Probably has even no money in his pocket. If you watch it at this one, many households lately, women are not the ones supporting the home. Because most of this work that men do has already had issues because of the lockdown. So that's why we are saying that if anybody is now suspecting or some form of depression in any of his spouse or relation, then you report to the doctor. Because it's very important for any of the health workers. So we can take it up. So that we assess the level of depression if it's going to be present.
All right, in a moment we're going to open our lines. In fact, we're opening our lines right now, 052-290-573, calling to ask Dr. Barry questions. We are not talking about palliatives. We're not talking about distribution of food items. Just calling to know how you can live through this period, particularly if you're beginning to be depressed. It's a medical issue. If you're beginning to hallucinate, because a lot of persons are beginning to hallucinate, a lot of persons are beginning to be very violent. And when you are unnecessarily violent, it is a sign of mental illness, okay? Call in, let's see how you can live through this period, because no one is sure when this is going to end. Nobody is sure. You can't say for sure that coronavirus is going to disappear next month or next year, but we're hoping for the best, but just to live through this period medically, because some hospitals, what they are rendering now is skeletal services, whether you want to believe it or not, whether Dr. Ojo wants to take it or not. Some public hospitals are offering skeletal services because of the manpower.
Yes.
I know that because of the manpower.
Yes.
And let me commend M1 now, because they are doing great.
Of
There's
course.
a medical
So even M1 now already have the assignment.
They are doing marvelously
Yes.
well. So I must commend them. So whether the people want to take it or not, public hospitals,
Yes, I agree with
the
you.
last hope of the common
Yes,
man,
I agree with you.
where the
So
common man
anybody that
can
wants to go to the hospital,
good medical care.
no, I don't want to get it this way. I agree with you that
at a very, very
I agree with you, but I just want to look at it this way.
Hours.
If you have a date with the doctor,
Yes.
let's say UBTH, in GPC for instance, in my department, and you have to come to hospital for your checkup,
Yes.
I expect you to leave your home as early as 6 a.m. as soon as the lockdown is over, so that you come to hospital early. Because hospitals, government hospitals now have targets. They now have the number of
the
patients they see
fear
every day.
of being robbed, the fear of being molested or harassed on the roads as early as
No, we're not
6
talking about by 6.
is making it very difficult.
So
for
if
people
somebody
to
lives in
leave
Upper
their homes.
Sakumba area in Idogbo and lives at about 6:30, by 7:30, 7:40, you already are in UBTH.
And by 10, no doctor is going to.
No. It depends on the number of patients. Even COPD. I'm not an advocate of the government hospitals, but that's the truth. If you even go to some busy private hospital, you have to go early. So what I'm trying to say is that the hospitals are now running skeletal facilities, to use your term. They are running services that can go with due to the manpower and due to time. Don't forget there's also the issue of dawn to dusk. So the earlier they finish their activities, the better for them. So I would expect everybody that's going to the hospital to come. Then when there are emergencies, feel free to take your emergency to the hospital.
Let's look at community infection now. That is what is happening because the borders are locked. Everybody is where they are. But the number of cases per day is still on the rise.
Yes.
Talk to us about community infection.
Yes.
Because a lot of persons may not understand
Yes, community,
what that simply means.
Okay,
because
community.
they are saying the borders are locked.
The community,
People are getting
community
diseases,
spread is simply defined as a spread that is from most likely from persons to persons within a community. Not necessarily the person might have a travel history. Some persons have been exposed to some other person that had an illness elsewhere and come around and now be spread. Probably as at the time he was having it, he was a carrier, not knowing that the illness is with the person. And the person now relates to the other person, and they'll know the issue of hygiene and all that will not there. So most times it's spread. That's why, like the Minister of Health said, we, even as the health sector, we must have a high index of suspicion because we have got to the level of community spread. That's why I'm very worried in the north. Even in the north, they have a lot of crowded areas here and there. So community spread is simply when it's now person to person. Before now, you will see somebody that came from UK, they say suspicious, or somebody that came from here, but now it's not individual. So that's why we are praying that it could be incubation period. Now that we're in the beginning of the 9th week, I know that definitely I'm not raising anybody's hope, but from before the end of this week, the reports are definitely going to be going down, like what is happening even in the case of America. Even though they now have close to 900,000 cases, but you can see that even the death toll has come down. Even in the cases of Portugal, they have over 23,000 cases.
I'm particularly concerned about those who have the symptoms and will not.
That's what we are saying.
Reach out.
That's what the Madagascar
some have
president
said that even the numbers that the NCDC put on ground for people to call are not even working.
But you know that about testing, how many Nigerians have been tested? Up to now, it's still less than 11,000 people. That's the problem. That's what we're talking about, health sector being ready for any kind of eventuality like this. South Africans have tested over 70,000 people, and we're still in less than 10,000.
There are quite a lot of testing centers in there.
Yes, we are doing NCDC.
And when you, I drove past a couple of, makeshift centers, and sometimes you don't even find anybody there.
Yeah, but look at the Madagascar approach. The president said, once you notice that you are sneezing, you are feeling unwell, get this said concussion, and he made it free to the people. So, to me, I think there should be some form of prophylaxis. Maybe you notice some unusual thing, then you can take the, for instance, somebody talked about in the UK, somebody talked about steam inhalation.
Yes.
Just boil water and be inhaling it. Since it is when the virus embeds in the or settles in the kidney, the lungs, that's when the patient dies. Because the virus does not have much affectation on the kidney and the liver, like the way Lassa and Ebola is, from all that we have been seeing. So community spread is a problem that has come to stay. So we just hope that the surveillance, because what is most important is that there's an exposure. How many people are exposed to this kind of patients? So how do you trace these persons that are exposed to these contacts? That's why we are scared. Now we saw demonstration 3 days ago in Kano, a group of youth. Look at what happened to the former PDP chairman, Modi Sherif's father's burial. Look at the crowd. So I keep on asking myself, is the law only for the northerners or for the southerners?
That's not what we are
doing. Community spread will take place when you see such
Dr. Barry, we're going to take a very short break, and when we come back, we'll start taking your calls. The number is 052-290573. The program is Healthy Living, and we're looking at the journey so far as coronavirus in Nigeria, in Edo State, is concerned. We'll take that very short break, and we'll be back in a moment. Stay tuned. A pleasure to have you join us again on the program Healthy Living on Independent Television. We're still here with Dr. Barry Ojo, and we're looking at the journey so far as coronavirus is concerned. Doctor, let's talk more about this issue of community spread of the coronavirus. We need you to explain further how it is contracted and what people should do or what they can do to help themselves.
Okay.
Because as it stands, a lot of persons don't want to go to the hospital. A lot of persons don't want to speak out because of the issue of stigmatization. And it beats me whole why somebody would want to stigmatize somebody, say, I don't want to come out, because we know that stigmatization is happening. A couple of persons came on air the other day when somebody came out to say that, yeah, I survived coronavirus, and those who were working closely with him did say that they were stigmatized. People didn't want to come close to them. People didn't want to be in the same environment with them because they felt that, maybe this set of persons already have this disease. Let's talk about stigmatization.
Yes.
Let's disabuse the minds of people.
No, talking about stigmatization. Stigmatization in medical illnesses generally. I don't think COVID is one of those illnesses that somebody talking about being stigmatized. Because it's a pandemic.
Everybody's afraid.
Yes. If you're talking about phobia, the governor of your state had COVID. Even the governor of Kaduna State today, they are back to their rulership. It's a pandemic. Anybody can be a victim. But in community spread, what we're talking about, like look at the case of the DSP. Even the Commissioner for Health came to say that they couldn't have a trace because some persons probably were now keeping away from it. I think the problem is that some persons feel that if they have COVID and they go to the hospital to say they should be treated, maybe the health workers can run away. Like we saw in one case in Enugu where they were suspecting that person was COVID, eventually became negative, and although the person eventually died, maybe of psychological issues and all that. That's where the stigma comes. Had an underlying cardiac pathology. But what we are saying is that what is community spread? If, for instance, you are in a school or let's say in a marketplace and somebody is COVID positive and now had exposure. You know, one thing about COVID is this: when somebody maybe have a handshake with somebody that is COVID positive and you are wearing a face mask, the face mask is not going to prevent the individual from contacting COVID if he has not washed his hands. So that was why we are using this media, this heavily going to tell everybody that anytime you have any contact with anybody, if you like, even wear a PPE, personal protective equipment, you wash your hands. Anytime will make you have contact with individual outside your home, you must try and do as much as possible to wash your hands. Even when you go to receive an important call, because those small improvised face masks are not going to help you. Because definitely once the virus is contacted through the hands, for instance, and you go close to the face, those small cloths that you call face masks don't go to help. So that's where we are saying in this program that
so you need to wash hands.
Washing is mandatory and should be done as frequent as possible. So if you go to the marketplace or you go to a small, maybe in the church, 20 people, and one person is COVID positive. No matter, except there's not, except when the social distance is not maintained. So the next person can contract COVID.
I have not seen anything like social distancing.
Yeah, you understand? So no, if social distance is not maintained, we're looking at all together before you come to that. If social distance is not maintained, and maybe there's a contact, maybe while trying to shake hands at the end of service and all that, and the person didn't watch his hand, how come that you already contracted the illness? And with that, that's already a community spread. Because the person may be in the environment, may be exposed. It's a chain. That's why there's no difference between this kind of pandemic illnesses, like even with the sexually transmitted illnesses, for instance. HIV is A sleep with B, B sleep with C, and the chain is continuous. So it's a chain. So that's why we're calling on government. So please, rise up to the occasion. Work with the health workers, work with the media. Because the media is indispensable in this case.
I know that the government has been playing their part, the media. The health workers are doing marvelous.
So we're calling on the populace
too.
The
problem now is the individual. Because if you go around the streets in Benin City, if you see 10 persons walking on the street, maybe only 2 will wear their face masks. And out of those 2, 1 will definitely not wear the mask properly.
I agree with you this one, but that's why we also use this event to say that wearing a face mask continuously is better. Because if you are using your face mask continuously, it's better than not using at all. It helps you a lot. Because you might be in the vehicle, some other person might be sneezing. If somebody is COVID positive, the person is sneezing and coughing, of course the developed person can contract the disease. So not necessarily by contact. In as much as they've not talked about aerosol spread, but we know that for a COVID patient to be sneezing can affect the next person. Okay, the community spread is what has affected Europe.
Let's quickly take this call. Hello, caller. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Please tell us your name and ask your question. All right, Lucky. Okay, nice to have you join us. Yes.
Because I have somebody that I've been coughing for like 3 weeks now.
Okay.
So even when we started, I was like scared.
Okay.
But since 3 weeks now, it's like the cough is still worrying
the person, and you are concerned.
I just said maybe it's just normal.
All right, Lucky, thank you very much for calling. You heard what
yes, that's interesting. They said the cough has been for 3 weeks. So that's like chronic, acute on chronic. That's still an acute phase. So COVID is 2 weeks. So when the patient start having cough for 3 weeks, the first thing to do is to turn to the doctor. Because what is the cause of the problem? Is the patient asthmatic? Was he having a respiratory tract infection? Could it be a pneumonia? Of course, could it be a TB? Has better be exposed to somebody that have a protracted cough before. So cough is not a funny symptomatology. It's very discomforting. So before COVID era, any cough is one of the commonest symptoms a patient presents with in the hospital. So what we expect that caller to tell his relation to please turn to the hospital, whether it's a private hospital or a government hospital. So they have to go evaluate the patient. We'll do a chest X-ray. We'll look at the sputum from culture. Then of course we're going to treat, give antibiotics and anti-allergic whatever, because it could be an allergic cough. So it will be just a normal approach, and definitely the person will be fine.
So the person must go to the hospital.
Yes, of course, because the hospital that is the physician or whoever is going to attend to the patient. So we'll evaluate the person thoroughly. Because what is a pulmonary TB? What if he has exposed before? What if it goes to be a pneumonia that can kill the patient faster than the COVID? So that's what we are looking at. So such case should be taken to the hospital.
Okay, I think people are simply scared of going to the hospitals.
No, you can go to a private hospital, or you can contact any doctor that you know. Or you can come to us on holiday leave, we can attend to the patient.
Hello, caller. Good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. 0522905573. The number is right here on your screen. Do call the doctor. Hello. Good afternoon. Please tell us your name. Hello? Okay, I'm sure that person just wants to... Hello? Yeah, good afternoon. Please tell us your name and ask the doctor your question, please. Okay, reduce the audio level on your radio set so that I can hear, or your television set so that I can hear you.
My name is Kevin. I'm calling from Edo State.
Okay. What's your question?
What are the symptoms of coronavirus. As in, I don't really get it, and most people don't and can't be watching them also because won't have a chance to be watching them. As in, how will I say it now?
Go ahead, say it anyhow, we understand. All right, we lost that call. He's still asking for the symptoms.
By way of reminder, it's still, the symptom is more of upper respiratory tract, upper respiratory symptoms, respiratory symptoms like cough, sneezing, trying to sore throats, at times some people be having loss of voice. So those are some of the symptoms. And again, fever can be present. Unlike Ebola and Lassa, most times fever is not always in the beginning of the illness, in majority of the cases. But patient might just be feeling unwell. But this issue of cough, sneezing, some person might be having some unusual headaches.
But
some
people,
person might be
should
having
not get it wrong. It's not every cough or every...
No. What was it? We're talking about non-symptomatic, non-specific symptoms.
Yeah.
But again, if somebody is having COVID positive, definitely some of these things will come. Cough, sneezing, and all that. By the time, it might just be an acute.
Hello, caller. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Please tell us your
I
name.
really appreciate the topic.
Thank you.
But from the mistake of the government.
You have not told us your name.
Okay, this Charles.
All right, Charles.
From Benin.
Okay.
Yeah, the government has made a blunder from the beginning. They ought to have brought in the social worker on this issue. In terms of sensitizing the people.
The people.
This is not about doctor, medicine.
Well, I'm sure there are so many health workers out there. Maybe you are not seeing them. There's so many of them. I have personally seen a couple of
It's
them.
not the health workers issue.
No, I have seen.
It's the social worker.
Okay.
They want to sensitize the people.
The social
Yeah,
worker.
when you those things are being done.
All right, caller.
Our government fail in their aspect to do the needful.
All right, caller. Thank you very much for calling. I won't say I will not agree with you.
But the social worker is also
so
a help.
much.
The government, like for instance, the government of those states is leaving no stone unturned. Enough present. The social worker also in correct term is also a health worker. But again, what about the media? RTV has done so well. So many people, even most of the media. So the message is there.
Everybody
in different languages.
Everybody's been doing their bit to the best of my knowledge.
Yes,
but
the knowledge is not unification.
the individual that
The
we
populace has not been able to
now,
get it right.
particularly those who still believe that coronavirus is a myth.
Look at
they want to see before they believe.
Even the coffee. You see people gathering by after 8 in some places.
Yes.
Sorry.
I was worried about a woman last night who had a baby strapped on her back at that hour on the street. Hello, caller. Hello, good afternoon.
My name is David.
Okay, David. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Ikobaoka.
Okay, go ahead with your question.
Hello. I want to know if the coronavirus.
Okay, you want to know if coronavirus is what?
Probably COVID-19. Is it from China?
You're very funny.
well, this one is not a funny question. Because we know you wouldn't have been asking. Coronavirus originated from Wuhan in China. And that virus is called COVID-19 because it was discovered at the last day of 2019. So it was Wuhan in China. So coronavirus actually is from China.
Okay, it started from China. All right, 0522905573 is the number. When you're calling, please reduce the audio level on your television set, or you move away from where your TV is and ask questions. Hello, caller. Good afternoon. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Please tell us your name and ask your question quickly.
Yeah, this is Peter from Benin.
Okay.
Please, I want to ask the doctor, what is stopping the federal government from having isolation centers in all the federal government-based hospitals in the country, and having a place where it can be tested in all the federal hospitals?
Okay.
A situation whereby you have a case and you say you are sending the sample to another
local government or another place entirely for testing. Then you now wait till it comes back to get the results.
Okay, thank you very much.
Health cases of
Yes.
then after some minutes or some time they come back again saying positive. What's the meaning of all this? And people in Ghana, we've seen them using drones to send samples and they return it almost immediately.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Yes, you heard what the caller said, that at the moment we have 13 COVID centers in Nigeria. Government, the Minister for Health was saying 2 days ago that they were going to expand it to 19.
Yes.
And they know this time.
So they are working
this is
on
an
that
illness,
issue.
yes, this is an illness that came 120 days ago. This is not TB, this is not HIV. So, in all fairness to the federal government, they've been able to rise up to that occasion. Because before now, we had just 7 COVID centers, expand to 19, and 13, and the federal government is saying that by, in a no distant time, they're going to move it to 7. But having said that, most of the COVID, most of the general hospitals and a majority of the teaching hospitals are COVID prepared. What that means that once they notice that this is a COVID suspect, they already have the materials, like a UBCH, for instance, like in Stella Basanjo, where they can quarantine a COVID patient, start treatment before they take their samples to ERA. So that much kudos to the federal government in that. Because this came in less than 120 days ago.
So we're hoping for more.
Yes, compared to last fever.
Okay, hello, caller. Good afternoon.
My name is John Chow.
All right, John.
Please, I want to know the symptoms COVID-19.
The symptoms.
The main symptoms.
The main symptoms of COVID-19.
Yes.
Okay, John
And
Charles.
I want to know the day when this virus started.
Okay. All right, thank you very much, John Charles.
Even the already established illnesses,
yes,
you cannot put one symptom on it. Don't forget that this one, most illnesses are really symptomatic.
Yeah.
But I think the most constant symptom for COVID is respiratory symptoms.
Okay.
Maybe cough, sneezing, and also sore throat and all that. But again, it started on 31st of December in China. So he wanted to know the exact date.
That's I think in Wuhan province, somewhere called Hubei.
It's suburbs of China.
Okay. All right. So the symptoms, he wants to know the
just the respiratory symptom, because you have cardiac, you have abdominal and other symptoms. But the most common symptoms that COVID is associated with respiratory, which is cough, sneezing, maybe at times sore throat. The patient might be losing his voice.
Okay, doctor, let's look about treatment, because
patient can be asymptomatic.
A lot of persons are talking about treatment. We've been discharging quite a number of persons, and that is good news enough that some persons are really getting healed from this virus, and people are wondering, with what are they being treated?
Yes, across the globe.
We've been talking about no specific treatment, no vaccine yet. You can't use antibiotics and all of that. Exactly what are they being treated?
Yes, but who said you can't use antibiotics, for instance? Across the globe, over 900,000 people have recovered. So what is treatment? Treatment is holistic management of a patient. Patient is having COVID, is COVID positive. Patient is diabetic, for instance. Are you not going to control the blood sugar while on admission? Patient is having the cough we talked about, and the chest is not clear. Maybe there are other bacterial spine infection. Go to give antibiotics. Patient is dehydrated. Are you not going to give infusion? Patient is not having anemia. So in the elderly, are you not going to transfuse? So it's a holistic approach, like the social worker I talked about now. Yes, even the psychological worker, like the psychologist, they have a lot of role to play. So it's not just treatment of a patient, it's management of a patient. Because a COVID patient is a COVID patient, just like a Lassa fever patient. So the fear of impending doom alone, the fear of death alone is not a funny thing. So if a patient have other ancillary symptoms or ancillary problems, you are going to manage alongside. But generally, for a normal patient that is COVID positive, very many times just rehydrate the patient, give a lot of reassurance, or the patient is quarantined. There's always a direct contact by the attending worker, not just doctors. Like one of the callers said. Yes, it's a multidisciplinary approach. Possibly some loved one like pastors and all that of the patient put a phone across for communication to react.
All right, some persons are beginning to abuse chloroquine.
Yes, we talked about chloroquine that day.
They just take it indiscriminately.
Yes, we talked about the program, but time didn't allow us.
Yes,
but now
taking chloroquine and even endangering their lives.
Even NCDC has warned against chloroquine. because it's not a foolproof. Even in America, they were not having chloroquine toxicity. Don't forget WHO has removed chloroquine from their drug lists long ago, about 17 years ago. I said that is not enough. Chloroquine was even used to treat, we were using chloroquine to treat leprosy before Dawson came. So, even for just like rifampicin came, but what we're saying is that chloroquine is not a foolproof. What I think a COVID patient should take is, whatever is all other symptoms that the patient is having, then you take alongside. You heard the Oyo State governor talking about pure honey. What is wrong with taking the pure honey? What is wrong with having someone steam inhalation, no matter the form of herbs, you will inhale it. It's going to help a lot. Anything that will not make the lungs collapse, anything that will not belong to worsen the respiratory symptoms, we do. But certainly not chloroquine. Because chloroquine is like, to me, it's an adjuvant drug. That people were using those days, for instance, when leprosy came, started using chloroquine, like a trial drug, until they now discovered, no, this thing has to stay with malaria. But they now also discovered that it became malaria resistant. So we now have chloroquine-resistant malaria. So, and it became more toxic with all the side effects, auto inching and all that. So at the end of the day, the WHO withdrew the drug. So for now, no COVID center, to the best of my knowledge, is talking about chloroquine. Patient comes, you look at the patient, what are the underlying illnesses, you start taking care of all that. Then of course, there was a patient recently, the one that they had in Adamawa, came down with low BP, hypertension. So you are going to raise the blood pressure. Or the blood pressure will kill the patient faster. Like I told you earlier. So many patients have died of other illnesses in the last, since February 23, than the so-called COVID. Only 40 people have died here. 87 people have died in South Africa. Only 11 have died in Ghana. But there are so many death rates. Even in Algeria, they talked about 425 deaths. There are so many underlying illnesses that may be coexisting. That's why we talk about comorbidity. So if a COVID patient goes to a COVID center, there's a lot of high index of suspicion for the attending doctors and the attending social worker, health workers to find out all of that history so they're able to manage the patient. Because what kills a lot of people, even in Nigerian case, over 26 of those cases were from underlying illnesses. Don't forget the other risk factors like aging process. Patients that have aging process. Patients that just had, maybe, there's some patients that just had blood transfusion. Patient had maybe had some other issues not too long ago. The patient is undernourished. Patient is anemic. You don't expect those patients to recover fast like the way the normal patient are.
So what's your advice to those watching now, Doctor, as part of the program?
My advice is to the general population that, like you have emphasized, the population should rise up to the occasion. They should also join government, and by way of playing their own role. Government on their part should also see the need to pay palliatives to the people. But in terms of health workers, let's continue to raise our high index of suspicion while we're attending to the patients. Let's do that COVID is real.
Lagos has increased the salary of health workers.
Except for the hazards and all that. Well, they've not implemented all that.
Hazard allowance.
Yes. So identity is key. Social distancing is key. No politicians.
We are hoping.
They only say it, but most times we just want to believe them when they do it.
All right, Dr. Barry.
Sorry.
Thank you very much for being part of the show today.
You're welcome.
We'll see you again on Monday. COVID-19 is as real as your name. Do all the necessary things and you will be safe. Good afternoon.